your regularly scheduled program for an important announcement. Have you seen this bacterium? Helicobacteria pylori is a gram-negative, microaerophilic, flagellated helical bacterium. It is usually spotted trying to make its home in the stomach.
H. pylori is a threat to our home, the human body. It can cause chronic inflammation of the stomach lining, gastric or duodenal ulcers, and even stomach cancer. Report any sightings to your local professional antigen-presenting cells, or APCs, and alert your fellow innate immune cells to attack it on site when they recognize its bacterial flagella or outer membrane lipopolysaccharide. The epithelial cells being attacked will already be making the cytokines, cytotoxins, beta-defensins 1 and 2, and LL37, as well as lactoferrin, which limits the availability of free iron, which we all know is essential for the growth of most organisms.
H. pylori is a cunning, resourceful enemy. It uses its flagella to burrow into the mucous lining of the stomach in order to reach the gut epithelial cells. It does this by detecting the less acidic region of the gut epithelial cells and moving towards them.
H. pylori also locally neutralizes the gut's acidic environment by producing urase, which hydrolyzes urea into CO2 and ammonia. Be careful. This dangerous bacterium always comes armed with an arsenal of virulence factors, including vacuolating cytotoxin A, VAC-A, gamma-glutamyl transpeptidase, GGT, cytotoxin-associated genes A, CAG-A, and the adhesins BAB-A and SAB-A. We now go to virulence factor expert Professor House, MD, to explain what these terrifying things can do.
Thank you. VAC-A induces intracellular vacuolation in gastric epithelial cells, which contributes to damaging the gastric and duodenal mucosal layer, ultimately leading to ulcer formation. GGT, through a series of chemical reactions, induces cell cycle arrest, apoptosis, and necrosis of gastric epithelial cells, which weakens the epithelial lining, better allowing H. pylori to penetrate the lining of the stomach. It also produces chemicals such as reactive oxidative species, which contribute to the maturation and replication of lymphocytes, thus inhibiting the adaptive immune response. CAG-A may help stimulate the production of IL-8, a chemokine which attracts granulocytes such as neutrophils and macrophages to the site of infection, and promotes phagocytosis of the bacteria, and activation of NFKB, cell survival. We think that H. pylori decides to stimulate these cells, so their inflammatory products further harm the stomach lining, letting bacterium access more nutrients and colonize deeper in the body. BAB-A and SAB-A are adhesins which let H. pylori adhere to the epithelial stomach cells in order to get nutrients and temporarily avoid the immune system.
Thank you, Professor House, MD. Not only does H. pylori have these dangerous virulence factors, it also tricks the adaptive immune response. H. pylori infection is known to suppress host immune responses by dendritic cell reprogramming toward a tolerance-promoting phenotype via IL-1 beta and IL-18, which suppresses the proliferation of CD4 positive and CD8 positive effector T cells. Thus, it suppresses H. pylori-specific Th17 and Th1 immunity and causes chronic colonization of the stomach.
These reprogrammed dendritic cells also promote the proliferation of Treg and inhibit the proliferation of Th17, thus suppressing the pro-inflammatory cytokines made by Th17. Treg cells suppress inflammation and decrease the immune response to antigens. Therefore, having more Treg cells active lets H. pylori stick around longer to use the body's resources and to replicate more.
Additionally, the aforementioned virulence factor VAC-A has been seen to inhibit T cell proliferation and IL-2 production. IL-2 regulates the function of both innate and adaptive immune cells and is also essential for the recognition of cell versus non-self antigens. With decreased IL-2, less immune cells recognize the pathogen and are activated to fight against it, thus letting H. pylori hide in the shadows.
So remember, if you see something, secrete something. H. pylori is a trickster, but it can't fool every cell in the body. Send out any cytokines and chemokines to gather up your innate cell friends, and always let a professional antigen-presenting cell know about the infection. We have to work together to battle against this formidable foe.
And now we resume our regularly scheduled program.